What's going on, guys? Tallen back here, and today I actually want to start a new little series on my channel. This is only going to be about once a week, give or take, probably on the weekends, but I want to kind of do a mailbox series to get more involved with my, supporters that actually watch my videos and everything, because I feel like I can do that when I Twitch stream and everything, but I can't stream as often as I would like to, just life, busy and everything, and so I thought this might be a nice little way to do that. A mailbox is nothing new to anyone who has watched other YouTubers or anything, but I wanted to just, have you guys have the chance to leave questions for me and for me to give my opinions back on them. So this isn't something like a Q&A where you're asking me like, what's your favorite Dokkan card or anything like that. But if you have an idea to either change Dokkan or some kind of new idea to maybe give it more life or breathe new life into it, or even if it's for another video game, because as you guys know, I don't play just Dokkan. I know some of you definitely watch me for my Overwatch and my Battlefield, especially when I'm streaming. We had a good amount of people on my stream the other day, which was really, really fun. So I'm going to give some examples of some questions that I've been given before, and also that I have found online concerning games that I have played myself. And then what I want you guys to do is, if you want to have your question read on the video and then have me give my opinion on them and everything, and my thoughts, then go ahead and leave it down in the comments below. Do not tweet at me. Do not send me a private message or anything. Leave it in the comments below of this video, because I will look back at this video, and then for the next one, I will give my opinions on about maybe 2 or 3 questions, maybe 4, depending on how many there are or how long they are or how much, we really have to think in depth about them and everything. So if you guys like the idea, then start leaving your comments down below. But I'm first going to give a couple examples of someone who did actually give me some ideas about, how they think, Dokkan could be improved in their opinion. And I'm going to give my thoughts back on it as well. And then I'm also going to use one, like I said before, about some questions that I found online pertaining to other games. And for this one, it's going to be Battlefield, actually. But if you have a opinion or a question about a new game coming out, or a game that you really like but you see it struggling, and what I think could maybe breathe new life into it, or what do you think about the next upcoming DLC, or whatever your thoughts might be, so leave your questions down below, and I'm going to look at them. I'm going to find the most interesting, or maybe the highest rated one, and we're going to go into it. We're going to delve deep, and we're going to get a conversation going. Let's get a little closer and everything. So first off, thank you to Xavier, I believe, if I pronounced your name correctly. You tweeted at me and a couple other YouTubers as well some improvements to Dokkan. So like I said before, I'm going to do 2 Dokkan ones, and I'm going to do a Battlefield one, and then let's just go into it. So the first question says, all right, so the ability is to improve Dokkan. So first one is the ability to gift a friend stones. Only purchased ones. For example, you pull an SSR you want early and you want to help a friend out. You simply put their ID and their Dokkan name and send stones to their gifts, and Bandai won't lose any money from this because it was bought anyways. So when I first saw this, I thought, oh, that's actually not a bad idea. And, one thing that would obviously stop Bandai from doing something like this, obviously this is not in the game right now, is that if you did not specify that it said bought stones, if you just simply said you could gift someone stones, people would start making side accounts and everything, farm a bunch of stones, and gift it over to their main account, and yeah, that would be, that'd be the end of that, and that'd just be a horrible, tragic thing right there. But, you say, though, okay, if I purchase my stones, then, I can then send it to somebody. So maybe like what you're saying is that if you go into the stone screen to buy some stones, and you say, okay, I'm going to purchase, 15 stones because my friend needs 15 more to do the next multi or something like that. And then it says, do you want to gift it or do you want it for yourself? And that could be a very easy change for a Bandai. And in the end, like you said, they're not losing money or anything. They are still getting money, but it's a nice little gesture to maybe help a friend out or something like that. Maybe someone who doesn't have the ability to maybe purchase stones that often, or maybe someone who just doesn't have the ability to, especially on JP, because a lot of people, a lot of us, if you want to buy stones, you either A, have to live in Japan like me, or you have to be able to go, online, or you have to get them from somewhere else. So you can't just walk into the average Target or anything like that and buy a Japanese iTunes card. You can buy the American one, but you can't buy the Japanese one. So that actually is a pretty good idea. In terms of if I think Bandai would do it, I think if they would, they maybe would have done it already. I don't know if they have the ability to within the game itself, which I'm assuming they probably do. But I'm just not really sure. I honestly, personally think it's a really good idea, especially if you have, like I said before, a friend that would want to get a little extra stones and get that last multi, especially maybe on a 3 multis and then get 1 free kind of thing, and they only need 15 more stones, and, it's going to run out, and then you can help them with that. That'd be a really, really cool idea. And, I don't personally, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see somebody creating a side account to pay money into the game to then send themselves stones. The only time I could really see that being an issue is if you had sales, but sales are limited, so Bandai still gets the money no matter what. So, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in your comments below what are your guys' opinion on that. Do you think it'd be cool to be able to give friends stones that are purchased only? Because as you guys know, if it was the ones that you just simply had on your account, people would start taking advantage of that system like no tomorrow. So I personally think it's a cool idea, and let me know down in the comments below though what you guys think of that one. And then his next one, which I found actually really interesting as well, he said the next improvement would be the ability to remove dupes put into other units for super attack levels, and it just removes an SA level, and you get your dupe back for the dupe system. So correct me if I'm wrong, Xavier, but it sounds like what you want to say is, so let's take Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta for example, because there's many versions of him. Let's say you put a physical one into the strength one, but you don't use strength that much because you have better cards or something like that, but you really want to up the ability system of your physical one. So you're saying to take out the physical one of your strength Vegeta Blue, and then you get that physical back, and then you put that into your physical in the dupe system. If I'm wrong, let me know, but that's how I read it at least. So I hope I didn't misread it or misinterpret it or anything like that. So I'm going to go with that. And it actually is kind of an interesting fact. And I want to change it just a little bit, because it did bring up some interesting things. So let's say, for example, you have, first off, I'll take that back. Let me go into the question itself. So do I think it's a good idea? I think it's a pretty interesting idea, to take maybe if you don't have that good of luck at getting a copy of the card you want, but you really like using that card now because maybe it's more relevant because it got a rebirth, or because now you finally have the leader that you need to make him relevant or something like that. That is actually a really cool idea, and maybe you want to give him dodge or critical or extra attack or whatever. I do think that's pretty cool. The only thing I could probably see Bandai doing though is putting some kind of limit on it where it's like you have to also use 10 stones, because as of right now in the ability system, if you want to change something from say additional attack to critical hit, you have to either have an extra dupe of the same card, or you have to use 10 stones in order to do that. So I like the idea, but I have a feeling if Bandai liked it too and they implemented something like that, they would probably put a restriction on that, unfortunately. One thing I thought that you could also do, unfortunately, I think Bandai would still put a restriction into it, just the same, is if you could take, let's say you have an SA10 Gogeta, okay? But you've never pulled a dupe of him or something like that. You have the ability to say maybe use 10 stones or something like that, and you can take out one SA to finally get that dupe Gogeta. And what it does though is it lowers your SA obviously by 1, so it'd be SA9 instead of SA10. And what this stops people from doing is if you have an SA10 and you take it out to get the dupe, you can't access the most powerful part of the ability system, which is the bottom right. You need an SA10 to start accessing those really big extra features, critical attack, additional attack, and dodge for those higher levels. You can get towards them, but then by the time you're about to hit them, it's gonna be like, oh, sorry, you don't have an SA10, so too bad, so sad. But you could at least get the other 3 if you wanted to, depending on what character you have. So I personally think that would also be a really cool idea, but I want to know what your guys' thoughts and opinions are in the comments below. Do you think that'd be a good idea to allow us to reduce our SA, our super attack essentially, by 1, and then allow us to put someone into the ability system? I think it'd be a pretty cool idea. The only downside I could see though, this could be a pretty big one, is the fact that, okay, well, let's say you save a bunch of old Kais for maybe 2 or 3 tournaments, and so actually I'm going to use this as an example because I would totally do this myself, is my Super Saiyan Blue Intel Vegeta, the Intel Demigod card. He's at SA5 right now. If I saved up enough old Kais after Super Saiyan 4 and all that stuff, I would easily feed him, I would take away from his super and be like, okay, give me 3 dupes or something like that from that. I'd easily get 20 or 30 stones per each of that if I could. Open up all of his pass and then just feed him the old Kais to get his SA back. So I do see that being a problem because, like I said, I myself would totally take advantage of that. And I think anyone would at that case, because it is really hard to pull extras of another card sometimes, especially the really big hitters and the new guys essentially. So it's an interesting thought, and my only way to really think about how you would combat that to make sure people aren't taking advantage of it too seriously is to either put a huge stone restriction on it, saying like, all right, you want to do this, that's fine, you have to give us 50 stones or something like that, and everyone will probably be like, oh no, I'm not going to do that, I'd rather just pulling a multi or something like that. But at the same time, maybe 50 stones isn't too bad of a thing, or maybe knock down to 30 or something like that, because in the end, you know, if you spend 50 stones, you get a multi-summon, and that could maybe be the same as taking away an SA, one level of an SA to get a dupe of that card. Maybe that's okay. You know, I don't know. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think we should have the ability to do that? Or do you think it should be strict and saying, you know, nope, you have to pull the exact same card no matter what? I do remember that others were saying like, oh, maybe as a World Tournament prize, or if you got really lucky and pulling something, or if you use the gems from the Baba Shop, like the original gems from just the story missions, maybe if you had like 777 of those, you could buy a equivalent of an old Kai for a dupe, essentially, though, and you could feed it into anyone you wanted to or something like that. Or there are even different levels of them, so maybe you need 1,000 gems or something like that to get the equivalent of a TUR old Kai dupe card or something like, you know, I'm throwing out random ideas here, but I personally thought it was pretty cool. Makes you really go for all the gems and everything, and, you know, yes, obviously people are going to take advantage of that again, but in the end, it would help, especially those players who maybe can't purchase as many stones or get enough stones because they've already farmed all the ones they possibly can, and it's like, you know, like, oh, I've got this really good card, but I really need to get, you know, if I want to be able to stand a chance in the future events and everything, I need to take advantage of this ability system, because this ability system does change the game as you see it now. So I don't know. I think it'd be personally pretty cool. So let me know your thoughts, though, down in the comments below what you think about that. And for the last question of this little mailbox series that I've wanted to start now is the last question, of which I've been seeing a lot if you're more of a console and PC you know, player or something like, or maybe you're both or anything like that, is if you guys have not been playing, there is the CTE version of Battlefield 1, and a lot of people right now are not very happy that the CTE makes you grind out for the weapons again, whereas in Battlefield 4, they were just given to us automatically, and then, you know, ranking up wasn't, you know, really required. The whole point of it was to test out the servers and everything, whereas in this version of the CTE, it's kind of like, oh, we have to start all over again. I'm focusing on trying to get this, but I'm not focusing on how does the map play or anything like that. And so I've seen a lot of people saying, you know, like, why did DICE do this? What are your thoughts, and what would you do to fix it? Well, I would say it's an easy fix. Allow us to simply just have access to the main weapons in the game. You know, they also make us unlock the new DLC weapons. Keep that, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But, you know, some of those weapons to unlock, you have to use certain weapons. You know, you have to get a certain amount of kills with a weapon, but if you don't have that weapon unlocked, you can't go for that weapon, and so you kind of mix out of that. Yes, obviously the DLC will be coming, but, you know, maybe if you are part of, you know, right now you are part of the CTE, you have a premium membership, which means you're going to get the DLC no problem, but maybe down the road, if DICE finally is smart about this and they allow non-premium members to enter the CTE, which I think they should, then people are not going to have that luxury. So I think they need to open that up. As of right now, I don't see it being a huge problem, but I think down the road they need to allow non-premium members to enter the CTE mode and then unlock the weapons, at least the main ones from the game that have come out in the vanilla version of the game. So hopefully they'll change that, and the DLC is coming out soon, so I'm pretty excited about that. So yeah, guys, there were 3 examples though of some questions of, you know, kind of what I want to do with this mailbox series. You know, don't, like I said before, don't be asking personal questions and everything like that. That's more for Q&A stuff. But if you have an idea about how to improve, whether it's Dokkan or a different game, or you want to get my opinion on it, you know, why you think this, or, you know, they said, you know, this has happened, or this is going to be supposedly coming in the form, you know, the game, this form, you know, what are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Do you think it's really going to change it? Do you think nothing's really going to change, or it's just going to get blocked out eventually? All that kind of stuff. So I'm really interested to see what kind of questions you guys make. So anyway, like I said before, if you want to get your question on this, on the next video, leave your comments down below. Probably about Thursday, my time, I will look at the comments, and then I will start making the video for the weekend. And then I want to do this weekly thing. I want to make this just, you know, every weekend. I want to be able to release this and be like, okay, this is what you guys thought for the week. Let's see where it goes. And like I said, it's not limited to Dokkan. It's not limited to other video games or anything. Any kind of games, let's hear it. Let's start doing it, okay? Obviously, I know, like I said before, a lot of you do watch me for Dokkan, but I do know a lot of you guys do play other games. Maybe if you have another mobile game you want me to give my opinion on and my thoughts on it, you know, let's go with it, you know? So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you like the idea for the new series. Let me know in the comments below, though, your questions and also what you think about the new potential series, if you want this to continue. Well, obviously it hasn't continued. This is the first one, but let's see what you guys thought, okay? So leave a like if you liked the video. Don't forget to leave your comments down below, and subscribe if you are new. And until next time, everyone, I will see you in the next one.